I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business? Just review the pages of my marketing plan. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Just review the pages of my marketing plan. Got my capability statement and I'm ready to go. Got my balance sheet, my P&L, my statement of cash flow. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Hey, entrepreneurs. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, the small business paramedic. Crystal, what you got going on there for Christmas?
Wow, it's great. It's finally here. It's been an interesting Christmas season with all the stuff going on in the news, with all the craziness.
All
and again,
kinds of crazy stuff.
We got sucker punched again last week. I mean, I guess so. We're gonna have to deal with this man. So we need to be ready for that.
Gotta be ready, just like we're telling these small businesses to be ready, Crystal.
Yeah, we gotta be ready because there's some stuff going on. I think for me, and I guess this is why I'm ready for Christmas, and I've done my Christmas shopping last night. I got 3 more gifts to pick up tonight. But the spirit just seems to be down because it's been so crazy, right?
It is down.
But I think for me the biggest part is the outburst of the racial issues that are going on in this country.
Crazy.
That is just ridiculous.
Crazy.
When the 60s and we were going through the civil rights movement, that was one thing because it was about us and them, right? But there's so many other people in this country. Why we can't figure out how we can come together as a whole, and then all of a sudden certain people feel that they're just better than other people. That's insane.
Unbelievable.
That's absolutely insane to me.
I think one of the things we need to do, Crystal, all minority groups, we need to come together, start teaming our resources, then we'll become the majority, and then we probably won't see too many of these things going.
Well, you'd push it back because I think with the crazy man, I'm sorry. He just cannot be my president. So I'm just going to deal with the fact that he's Trump and he's not my president. Because it seems ludicrous that you could have President Obama, a man with class, style, dignity, brilliance, and you come behind it with an idiot. That just seems unfathomable. So I know God must have a bigger plan. We just don't know what that plan is yet. So, and we're not supposed to know. But here's what I do know: that us as human beings, not a color, not a gender, not a sexual preference. We as human beings need to stand behind each other in solidarity.
That's exactly what it is.
And so when we see people behaving outlandish with other people, I mean, there's been a couple of things on Facebook this week just turn your stomach.
Really?
One lady, she was this was in Kentucky, and she was in a Target, and it was 2 Latino women closing out. They were shopping. They were buying whatever they were buying in their basket, right? Yeah. So they were sisters, it looked like. So they came up to the counter. So one sister came to the counter and the other one was coming, and so she put her stuff in the basket. My sister and I do that all the time. Yeah. I mean, we're shopping together, right? So one is coming, okay, I'm going to go get in line, and when you're ready. This woman went off on her, calling her all kinds of names and telling her she needs to go back to her own country and that, learn to speak this language and not her language.
That's no
and
good.
What I saw, and that was bad enough because, ignorance is ignorance, right?
Oh, yeah.
And to attack another person without provocation is just ridiculously stupid.
It is.
But what I did see was that the people in line, they didn't do anything to stop it.
See, that's the thing I don't understand.
That's the part I don't get.
Crystal. That's what I don't understand. Because people see other people behaving stupidly. I'm not going to say badly, behaving stupidly.
Stupid, right.
And they do nothing or say nothing about it.
They do nothing or say nothing. Because I'm thinking, what is wrong with these people? Somebody was out. It was on Facebook Live, so obviously somebody was recording it.
Exactly.
But what happened to the other people coming up? So my thing is, if someone's being mistreated, then everybody comes and surround that person to support that person, because that other person will back off if they don't feel they have an audience. Bullies back off when they don't have an audience. They don't have anybody standing behind them.
Yeah.
And so if we're talking about stopping bullying in school, how are we as adults going to bully other adults and teach our children not to bully?
My point.
I mean, how hypocritical is that?
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's very hypocritical.
That's very hypocritical. So I think, listening audience, if you see someone being mistreated, then it is our human right and our responsibility as God's children to put a stop to it. So we don't have to say anything.
Right.
Just come and surround that person.
Yes.
And give that person a stare down that will back them off.
That's exactly
we can do that. That way, you're not disrupting the law. Obviously, the store, if they're not stopping it, then they're committing a crime. So on the back end of that, if the store is allowing that bad behavior, then maybe we need to sue them and stop going to their stores.
That is true.
Because we got to put something in place.
We got to draw a line in the sand.
We got to draw a line in the sand. So if you're going to do this behavior, there's consequences to this behavior.
Yes.
And so those consequences is that other people that care about other people are not going to stand and let you do this to another human being.
And it's very similar to what we experience with other small businesses too, because we see certain small businesses being taken advantage of, and a lot of us say nothing about it.
We say nothing about it.
We let them go through an abusive loan situation or an abusive business consultant situation. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is just not good. That's
right.
Not
We
good
got it. We have to say something. We have to step up for other people because that's our role as human beings.
Yeah, got to step up.
And it doesn't have anything to do with color. Doesn't have anything to do with that. It's just as human beings.
Yeah.
We are all God's children. We just happen to have different color of coats. Our coat
that's what
is
I'm talking
a different
about.
color on the outside, but on the inside we're the exact same people.
It's like Joseph's coat of many colors, right?
Of many colors. So we can't let crazy Trump and his crazy, insane racial lunatics, put us in a position where we're changing the face of what America looks like.
But see, the thing about it is those things will never last. That will never last. I mean, it's a fad. It's here for a little while. People are acting stupid and crazy. But eventually, that reality thing is going to hit.
Right. And so if we stand up for everybody to let them know, whatever their nationality we're going to be there for you, and we're not going to allow that. And then we come back and we start writing letters to our local politician because his policies, or whatever they are or not are, I don't think that he has any policies, but whatever they are, I mean, they're talking dismantling this country. Yeah. And it's really, in the overall bigger picture, it's not about color. Mm-hmm. It's about the haves and the have-nots.
That's exactly what it is.
This is like Marie Antoinette all over again. Yeah. I mean, let me suppress the people that have no money and continue to take from them while I continue to grow my coffers till I have everything and they have nothing. So that's really what we're talking about.
And see, the thing about it is what's going to happen is they're going to allow him for a while to do his thing, do whatever he does, and then eventually they're going to go, hey, this is getting too close to home. It looks like it's going to affect me at some point.
Right.
Then his buddies are going to jump in and say, hey, you got to stop. We can't do that.
Well, because for him, based upon his clinical narcissistic personality, he is the extremist, right? Mm-hmm. So yesterday, I think he made a comment about, first of all, Putin made a comment about upping Russians' nuclear nukes and making sure that they're protecting their borders from Syria.
What did he say?
He came back and said the same thing for here in America.
Interesting.
So you can't have this idiot nowhere near the nuclear button. He said, we need to up that up and we need to be able to start fighting with nuclear war. That would wipe out billions of people. This is nothing to joke about. So for him to be that kind of person, the exaggerator person, but also wanting the accolades to go along with that, he will do something dumb.
He doesn't understand the ramifications. He does
not. And so that's where we can be positive and we can move forward and do what we need to do, but we have to understand that this man he ain't wrapped with all his decks, all his oars are not in the water.
And that's why we got to do our thing, Crystal.
We got to make
sure we put systems in place, access grants, access loan programs, access influencers out there in the marketplace to help support us small businesses.
Small businesses.
Yeah.
And California is in a great place. I read something as well on this week was that California and the whole western quarter that was all blue, they want to succeed from the United States. And California says we don't need them. We make enough. We got the Hollywood industry, the entertainment industry, and we have the all of the technology.
We got oil too?
We got oil, so we don't need them. So they need us more than we. So California. So then the Republicans got on the bandwagon saying if California had not been counted, then in the vote, or we hadn't voted, they would have won, right?
Crazy.
So then somebody came back this morning and said, well, what about the Appalachians? If all of Virginia didn't vote and all the southern states didn't vote, then Hillary would have won. That's ridiculous. But California, we're in a position because of the fact that we're probably the most, between New York City and California, we're the most liberal thinking people, the most innovative and the most creative. And a lot of our entrepreneurs
got all the tech people.
We got all the tech people here, and our entrepreneurial percentages are very high here. So that means great things for our business. And we got a gangster governor. So, so long as we got a gangster governor that's liberal.
With some guerrilla tactics.
So guys, know this, that here in California, there are opportunities for you. And so you need to position yourself so that we can take advantage of it. And that's what the Business Zone is about.
That's right.
So those of you on Facebook Live, we are actually taping early today at 10, and then our show will be broadcast at the regular time slot between 3 and 5. So you want to check us out on Morris Media Live at that point in time. Good morning, Michael. How are you? Michael Moore says, good morning, Gilbert.
Hey, Michael. How you doing today?
Next year, we're going to have Gilbert on here. We're going to get him already. I got to stand for him for easy so he can Facebook Live so we can build our network on Facebook. But we're excited. We are at the end of the year. It is the holiday season.
Is this our last show?
This is our, I think so. Next Friday.
Next Friday the 30th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, you might have to do that show. My girlfriend's sister died this week, and the services are on Friday.
Wow.
Or we could do an encore show that we've done before.
We could do that too.
Yeah, we could do that. So we'll talk about that and see if that works.
Okay.
Yeah, my best friend, one of my best friends, her sister passed on Sunday. So the service is on Saturday. So it's not expected.
This time of the year is not a good time. It's not that any time is good for
but it seems like the end of the year they be trying to get up out of here, man.
Okay. Hey, I'm gonna punch my clock in.
Right. It starts in October. I used to was a bookkeeper at a church. They were my clients.
Yeah.
And from October to December, in October it was like 1 or 2 services a month. Then by November there were like 2 or 3 services a week. And then by hey Deshaun, how are you? And then by December, oh man, it was on and rocking.
Wow.
Every week, almost every other day there was a service.
Wow.
So I guess people just like, I got to go. I need to be out of here for the next year. I got things to do up in heaven with the man upstairs. So see y'all. So are you ready for Christmas?
Oh, I'm ready as ready can be. I haven't been doing any shopping, and I'm just chilling, kicking back.
Okay.
We'll see what this brings. I tell everybody, hey, I'm not buying any gifts, so don't expect any gifts from me.
I have a family, and we I did. Hi, Deshaun. Good morning. How are you? My family is usually pretty easy to shop for, and I did a lot of that online with a lot of the vendors that black-owned vendors and some others. But I have my tennis coaches. I wasn't quite sure what to do for them. Whew, that was tough. So
you didn't buy a basket of balls or something?
Because we get all that stuff for free.
Yeah, it's already there.
All our tennis stuff comes. I mean, last week we had this great holiday.
Let's get them a gift card.
One of them I did. So one is not. He would take the gift card and he would never see it, and money would never get used. So we had to do something a little bit more creative with him. But last week we did a holiday. It's called holiday tennis camp for our kids, and it's a big thing. Santa Claus comes out, the kids are in doing drills, but one of the best things about it is it's sponsored by the Tennis Warehouse and the Star family, and they usually put this whole big thing, and the kids, there's food, and the kids, the high-end kids come out, all the coaches from around the city come out and work with the kids. But we get the most incredible tennis outfits. With the tags and everything. It's like a little table, a swap meet kind of thing. So we clean up every year with tennis outfits. So I got some adorable tennis wear for next year. And we're going to, next year, I think we're going to be doing our league. We'll be ready to start playing in our league.
The kids' league or
the adult league? We're going to have our own league.
Is Margie going to be a part of it?
We'd like to have Margie. Margie is actually on Facebook Live. Margie, we'd love to have you because Margie's a really good tennis player.
You tell me. So it would be nice to see her out there doing her thing.
Yeah. So my coach told me, coach told me the other day that I think guys are ready. We're going to start pairing you up for doubles. And so that's pretty
good.
cool.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting. And what else happened with our tennis? Oh, our kids actually were in a video with Common. He did a program on ESPN interviewing Serena. And so then on the court, a lot of our kids were there, and on the court, so the kids are standing behind Common, and he's talking about strong black women and Serena being a strong tennis player, and it's really, really cool. So that aired on ESPN.
So it aired already?
It aired already. I can send you over the clip.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, it's called In Depth. What is it called? I think it's called In Depth, I think. In Depth. And it's on, but I'll send you over the link.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
And so he did a video.
I like those programs.
Yeah, so our kids are moving up, and one of our little girls, she has just finished the Junior Tennis Orange Bowl. He's second runner-up.
Very nice.
In the country.
Very nice.
Yeah, so we're proud of our kids. They're doing their thing.
Well, it looks like you're raising another batch of Serena and
Venuses, which is important. We gotta, we're doing the basketball thing. We got to do the same thing with all the other sports. Deshaun, if you're on Upstream, you actually need to keep it from breaking up. You need to actually purchase the subscription. I think that's why it's breaking up. If on Facebook Live, the signal may be low. So today, our show
tell us about today's show, Crystal.
We're going to, because we need to be prepared, so we're going to talk about networking with a purpose.
Very good.
And a goal and an intention for 2017.
So we're not going to network just to network. We're not going to go to events just to show up there and hang out with people. No. We're doing it for a purpose.
We're doing it for a purpose, and we're understanding that networking is really investing in your future. I learned to network years and years ago. There was a book called Success Runs in Our Race, and it was by Dr. George Fraser. And Dr. Fraser is a networking guru. And I went to a couple of his seminars when he came to Los Angeles. He's out of Cleveland, Ohio, and I was just blown away. And so I kind of patterned my early networking after his philosophies, and then over the years it's evolved. I am known to some people as a people collector.
I like that. That's a new one. That's a new one.
Yeah,
Crystal.
so I'm always meeting, because it comes natural to me. So I'm always meeting people, and so people go, Crystal has to know somebody, so they'll start calling me. So even Sharon Evans, she was telling somebody the other day, I was at the Black Christmas party, and she goes, you would be amazed at the people she knows. She goes, you just call anybody, just call her. She knows somebody that knows somebody. so that, and that's some of what was in his philosophy, is meeting people, because one of the things, you have to build your network before you need them.
That's true. That is true.
Right.
And you know what's amazing? That's the same thing we used to teach when we're doing job search and job training. You got to build that network before you need them.
Before you need them.
Yes.
Right. Because you're in a panic when you need them and you can't think straight. Right. So you really have to start, when you're meeting people, you don't know if it's for the now or it's for the later. Right. So there are certain techniques in order to do that. And a lot of people I know, are very uncomfortable going into a space and walking up to someone and just having conversation but there was years and years ago, I don't know, have you ever heard of CEO Space?
CEO Space?
Yeah, it was kind of a networking, and they're around. They have different chapters.
Online? Is it online?
It's online, but no, in person as well. It was pretty big. I don't know if it's as big as it used to be. But one of the things that I did like about them was when they met people, their first question was, how can I help you? And so I kind of incorporated that, because you're taking it away from yourself, right? It's about it welcomes you, and what do you do, and how can I help you? Right. And then at that point, they're letting you know what they do, and then you can see how it fits within. You like that, huh?
I like that.
Right.
Because when you go to a networking event, people are kind of guarded. They're going, they're going to be asking me stuff. I don't want to give them anything. But if you ask them, how can I be of help to you? Now they're dropping that guard. Oh, okay.
Right, because it's not about you, it's about them. And most people are very open to talking about self, right?
That's a pretty neat strategy, Crystal. I like that.
Yeah. So how can I help you? What is it that you're doing? And because eventually you're going to get yours anyway, because that's the karma, right? But it's putting them in a position, one, to talk about what they do and what their possible needs may be.
Right. I like that.
You like that? Isn't that better?
All right. How can I help you, Felicia?
So it's a better way of doing networking.
Like
so I've incorporated that. So generally, I listen to people. And let them tell me what they want. And then at that point, we get to talking. And then, in there, you can interject what you're doing. And then you actually get a back and forth conversation going versus someone just pitching something to you. Because after a while, I know for me, I blank out. If it's just a come at me, because I got this and this and this and this and this. But, I already know there's no reciprocity in it.
And also, with that being said, with that strategy and that approach, that canned speech that people always prepare with, which they call the elevator pitch, you don't necessarily have to have that ready or get nervous about delivering it.
Right.
Because now you're there for that person, to help that person. So then once it's your time to provide them with information that they need, it's going to come from the heart.
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 And you won't have to think about it. You won't have to plan that speech, do the pitch. It's going to come from the heart. And
it's going to be genuine and authentic. So at that point, you're starting, because it's about building relationships. Because you can't walk up to someone you just met and start saying, I need you to do this and this and this. I got to get to know you, right? I just can't. But I have to, and because I don't know whether it's you're going to help me or someone that you know that's going to help me. But we need to talk about building a relationship with one another before you can, especially if you're going to go ask for money or you're going to ask for a job. I'm like, why would I give you a job? Who are you? Right? Because we haven't had any conversation with each other to get to know each other.
I like that.
Yeah.
So for 2017, that will be my strategy.
Okay.
How can I help you?
Because we come with value, right? So everyone comes with some sort of value. So you want to be able to say, well, maybe I can't help you. And if I don't know someone, if I can't, then maybe I can reach out to someone that I know that they can help you. Right.
I like that.
So
I like that a lot.
That's the premise of that. So To me, the definition of networking is building one's connections, right? And building a relationship. And the more connections you have, the more abundance that comes along with those connections, and the more things get done.
And the stronger that network becomes.
Right, and the stronger that network becomes.
Yeah.
And economically and personally, and a professional success is based on who you know or who knows you.
That is true.
Because, in this world where it used to be when we went job hunting, let's say when those that if you're in the employee status of life, you were able to submit applications in person. Yeah. You went to go meet the person that was at the desk, the receptionist. They got to see you, got to see how you carried yourself, right? So it's a little more hands-on. Right. Well, in today's world, you don't everything is online. Online social media. Online social media, which has taken the personal away and has made it very sterile. So you're not meeting me. You're meeting my paper. You're meeting what's on paper, which doesn't have a life to it. Right. It's just words that you put on a paper to meet certain needs. And where that came into effect was as a nonprofit, Recycling Black Dollars, we get a lot of our sponsorship from corporations. So over the last, 5 years or so, everything has gone online. And so some of our sponsors that have been sponsoring us for years and years, the old brass that was there, they've retired. So those were our relationships. Right. And when you're looking for money, it's about a relationship, right? Because they're really investing in you, the person, not you, the organization. Right. And so without those relationships, nonprofits are having a hard time finding funding and getting funded. Yeah. So we got denied by a funder that had been a sponsorship or sponsor of ours for like 20-something years. And our approach was, let's email them and say, you know what, we need to sit down and have a meet. Yeah. Because obviously from my proposal, you couldn't get a real feel for what we do. And so we need to make sure we're having that conversation. One, we're finding out what your criteria are. And two, you're learning what we've been doing from us with enthusiasm versus it on a paper. And so after one of them, we had the meeting, they're like, wow, I didn't know you guys were doing that. That's amazing. Right? And that's what you usually hear from a sponsor, a client, or someone to that effect. Or even an investor. If you're looking for an investor. I didn't know you guys did that. Right, exactly. How many times have people come up to you and said, Gilbert, I didn't know you did that. Exactly. As a matter of fact, this past week, I was dealing with some contractors, a prime, 4 of them, and they all said the same thing to me after I sent them my statement of qualifications. They go, what? Even Richard Palais said the same thing. He said, I'm looking at you in a totally different light. I didn't know you did these things. I didn't know you were aware of this and you're so strong in this area. And that's exactly what it is. Right, exactly. People don't know because we're so multifaceted. Yes. We do so many different things. Yes. So if they catch us in a space where we're speaking or doing a class on a particular subject, they think that's our area of expertise. Right. But you and I both have a very extensive experience and skill set. Exactly. So I even get it, and everybody pretty much knows that my business started with QuickBooks and accounting. So in a certain space, that's what people know me about, know me for, right? Exactly. Then in other spaces, people have only heard me speak at different events, or if they've seen me as the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars, or I've done a workshop and somebody's told them. So and I'm talking business development and business plan. Yeah. So I was at an event, one of the roundtables, one of the Black Voice roundtables. And so Sharon, I was introduced as, if you need to get your financials together, Crystal is the person that does. And the lady came up, she goes, I had no idea that you did that.
Yeah.
I was like, really?
Because you probably only see you as a business plan or
right,
recycling
exactly.
black dollars.
And we think, it's so important for our websites. Most people go to your website one time.
Yeah.
Unless you're driving them to your website, they've been there one time, and
That's it.
and for a business website, it's unlike an Amazon or an eBay or something of that nature. You have really no other reason to go there unless you're looking for a phone number that you don't have, right?
Yeah.
So other than that, they would not be able to go see what your services are unless you're marketing and promoting your website. Mm-hmm. Not everybody's on your Facebook, and not everybody's on social media. Yeah. We don't use LinkedIn the way it's supposed to be used because your LinkedIn is a place, your resume, your business resume, and it should be kept up to date.
We should do a workshop on that, Crystal.
I think so.
We should do a workshop because I know you got strong expertise in that area, so let's do that. Yeah,
we can do that because I think we got to be able to use, and that's part of the networking. Your LinkedIn is a way, and you can make it live. Yeah. Because you can keep adding content to it that people will see who you are and the things that you're interested in and how. And maybe, in 27 thing is, how can I help you?
Yeah, exactly.
That could be the content. How can I help you? Everybody reach out, especially those of us that are in business. Yeah. How can I help you? Tell me a little bit about you and your business.
That's going to be our theme for 2017.
Yes. How can I help? How can I help you? So that's some of the things. So today we're going to, we have some young men, college-age young men that are about to graduate. Some of them have graduated and some of them are about to start their life. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to talk about networking today because they need to start building their network and they need to have a strategic plan to do that.
Do you think perhaps we should take a break right now?
I think that would be great.
Back to that.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll go ahead and take a break. You're on the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert, the small business paramedic.
Okay.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186. 86.
So we're back on the Business Zone, and we're here with
Crystal
and Gilbert, and we've got some special guests in the studio today. Crystal, so we were talking earlier.
So we were talking, and one of the reasons that I thought the show would be apropos, one, for us as business people, but also our guests today are college graduates or to-be graduates, and they're getting ready to start their work careers, and it's all about relationships.
Relationships, that's correct.
Because when you came out of college, how did that go when you went to look for a job?
You know, when I came out of college, I had already established my network.
Okay, good job.
So that network was very great. As a matter of fact, what I did, I stayed in college an extra year.
Oh, was it the strategy to continue
That was a strategy.
Good strategy.
Because with that extra year, I was able to build alliances with the professors.
Okay.
See what I mean?
Right.
And also what happened, I kind of didn't finish out the year because I got an opportunity. I got a business opportunity in Mississippi.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that was good. That was good.
And that's what's important. So, and that's what we're going to talk about today is establishing, and even for business owners, before you start that business, you need to already have established your network so that when you need someone to help you with your business plan, if you just got the concept, then you need to lay out your team of individuals that's going to help you move you forward so you don't get stalled out with
and also,
lack of information.
You want to let your clients, your potential clients, know what you're getting ready to do, what pain you're getting ready to solve in the marketplace.
Exactly.
So then they can say, well, you know what? I have that pain, or no, I don't have that pain, but I have a family member who has that pain who you can help.
Exactly.
You see what I mean? So then the referrals start building up.
And right before you need them. So again, we're going to do that. Yeah. So we're going to talk about a book today that I read a couple years ago that was referred to me by the CEO of it was one of, not FedEx, it was actually the one with the brown UPS. And so I was at a meeting, and he had suggested that everyone read a book called Never Eat Alone. And Never Eat Alone was written by Keith Ferrazzi, and the book is about creating and establishing relationships and building networking, and then building and establishing relationships.
You know, Crystal, I've never read that book, but after you mention it today, and we have it here as part of our handout, I'm definitely going to check out that book.
Yeah, it's a really, really amazing book. So I'm going to introduce our guests, and then we're going to have a conversation about what it will take for them to move themselves in their career, and we're going to use it along with Never Eat Alone.
Make sure we don't eat alone today.
Right, exactly. So the very first guest is very near and dear to me because he's my nephew.
All right. Hey, nephew.
And his name is Trenton Graham, and we're so proud of him. So Trenton, when he was in 8th grade, he already knew he wanted to go to college.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And he had it all planned out. And the year that, 2 years before, when he was filling out his applications, his mom, my sister Mona, we didn't really have to do anything. He took care of all of it himself. So he was really working hard to accomplish what he wanted after he got out of high school. So he had a plan, he had a strategy. So we want to make sure he keeps that plan and strategy in place for when he gets out to the working world. Right. And then the other young man sitting here, he's very near and dear to me because he's like my other nephew. He is Trenton's best friend. I think they met in kindergarten.
Wow.
So look at that, a relationship that's gone the distance. They're both 22 years old. And so for the last 20-something years, they have been behind, got each other's back. Right. So and Julian, he went to his career was a little interesting in the beginning. He had to find the right place. But again, through strategy and planning, because he knew exactly what he wanted to do. And so you went to Ball State. Yep. And as you can see, he's a pretty big guy. So he was playing football. And so, but he didn't want that to define him. So he didn't have the goal that I'm going to college to play football or to go in the NFL. He had a plan. And if that happened, he would have been pleased with that. But that wasn't the only plan that he had.
So football was plan B.
Yes.
I like that.
Sort of.
Plan A/B.
Yeah, exactly.
With a backup. With a backup. So, and you have to be that way when you're talking about pro sports, right?
That's right. You never know.
You got to give your all.
Never know.
Right. You never know if you're going to be that person that they're going to pick up or not.
Or you're going to be cut.
Right. So you can't be that one. That can't be your only plan and goal because you might get disappointed. Yeah. So, Trenton, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay.
Okay,
so like she said, I always wanted to go to college. It was actually something my parents always told me that will happen, not, if you want to. It was always you will go to college. So it was up to me to determine what college I wanted to go to.
So they told you got to go to college, and you said you always wanted to go to college. Mm-hmm. What is it about college that made you want to go?
For me, it was moving out my parents' house, actually trying to find myself as my own person.
Right.
Sometimes you look at college on TVs and it's portrayed as something
a certain way.
Yeah. And it's something like that sometimes, but it's totally different other times.
Right.
So I think that being so ambitious really got me to that point.
That's good.
So after college, I actually started working for the recreation center. Mm-hmm. And I was an intramural sports official, and I moved my way up in that area where I became a program assistant, and now I'm at the University of Houston as a grad assistant in the intramurals department.
Very good.
So it's been fun these last couple of years, ever since I graduated high school, moving around. Whole bunch of different experiences, but a lot of things that I've learned from, and I'm happy to take forward moving on.
Yeah.
So he's learning from his experiences. So he graduated from the University of Dayton, or what is it, Dayton University?
Yeah, University of Dayton.
University of Dayton in Ohio, which was a different experience all by his little lonesome.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's a California boy, and the weather was different, the people were different, the culture was different, and so
just out of curiosity, what was the population in terms of black people in that area?
Well, I lived in Dayton, so it was funny when I first said I was going to go there. All my uncles was like, "Oh, Dayton! I remember Dayton. I used to swing by Dayton. I passed through." Yeah. So. I would say it was 50-50.
Really?
Yeah. It was a dying city, though. You can definitely tell that. And the school was basically the middle of the town.
Yeah.
And one side was the richest, one of the richest white areas in the country. Mm-hmm. On the other side, it was all boarded up houses.
Yeah, like Aleppo, right?
Right. So when I first got there, I was like, I don't know if this was the place for me. But then I saw the other side of town. I was like, oh, wow, this might not be the place for me for a whole other different reason. But it was interesting.
Yeah, I hear that.
And University of Houston, why did you choose that one?
I wanted to get another experience, so I moved out to the Midwest for the snow, actually. Learned I did not like snow. So,
how long did it take you to figure it out?
Probably the first month.
Yeah, see, for me, it took me 13 years. So I was a slow learner.
Yeah, I learned immediately. With the type of job I had, there was only a certain amount of schools that had the position open.
Yeah.
So I just focused my efforts to the South.
Yeah.
And Houston was one of the places that caught my eye. I was accepted, and it was pretty early in the process, so I was pretty lucky.
That's good.
Accepted position, got accepted to the grad school, and I was set by April.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, what was the cost of education for grad school there?
The cost is, I think, around $30,000.
Wow.
Yeah, but actually the position I have, they're paying for my grad school.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
That is great.
Yeah.
That is great. I wish I had access to that because back in I'm still paying for my loan right now, and it's crucial.
Yeah, it was one of those decisions. Freshman year, actually, at the University of Dayton, the people from the rec came over and said, if you want a job, please, we're looking for people, intramural officials, just building attendants, anything.
Wow.
And I went to his office, talked to him about it. He was like, well, this is an opportunity where you could actually get free grad school.
Wow.
And I was like, doing this, officiating intramurals? He was like, yeah. So I said, I'm all in for that plan.
That is
we
great,
worked together
man.
to get there. So
That is great. See, when you graduate from grad school and you enter into the world, whether you're going to enter entrepreneurship or workmanship, where you become an employee, you're going to truly, truly appreciate that aspect where you don't have to pay back that loan. You're going to appreciate that. I'm telling
Because
you.
a lot of college students start out in debt, which is really kind of sad because, you still are starting your life and, that's the first debt that you're going to incur. And it really shapes how you make your decisions for
Which
where
is
you're going
an
to work.
awful way to do it.
Yeah, it's a horrible way to job hunt.
And it stick with you for a long time.
Yeah, there are adults that are, well, in their 50s, 60s, went to school. In fact, here's how incredible it is that there are people that went to school in the 60s and the 70s that are still paying for their loan, and their degree is no longer valid because everything has changed, right? So everything is being done different.
I'm kind of close to that. I'm kind of close to that because I started community college back in '86. I graduated with my master's in '89, I think, '89. And I'm still paying for that thing.
Yeah.
I'm still paying. And I'm nowhere close to finishing.
Yeah. It's like crazy. How come you didn't get into the forgiveness one that when
I tried, but they tell me it's too late. I applied too late.
Too late? Oh, wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, because he forgave that in his early first.
See, what happened in my case, and, maybe, I don't know if you're there yet, but I want you to think about it this way. When you get a loan, a student loan, you want to be careful of who the lender is because their purpose is to jack you. Their purpose is to put you into these loans that you can't get out of. Because my loan was supposed to be a 10-year loan. Okay, it started in '86. How many years is that now?
Wow.
Over 30.
Wow.
And I still can't finish paying for it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Because they put you in it and then they creep up the interest rate on you and you don't even know what it is. Because when you're going to college, you're excited about just getting some money.
Right.
So you take all these loans thinking, hey, I'm going to get a job. And you never get that job to take care of it.
Not that, because you got to pay rent, you want to buy a house, you get married, you got children. It just is endless. That's ridiculous.
Over 30 years, 30 and years? I still owe them at least 40 grand.
Oh my God.
At least 40 grand. That's how they jacked me. So I'm telling you, man, be careful.
Yeah, so, Julian, tell us your story.
Mine got pretty interesting. I always knew I was going to college. That was never anything that was debatable. Come from a long line of educators, my grandparents as well as my father. Out of high school, I got accepted to every school I applied to, but I wanted to play football. And although I could have went somewhere, my mom paid or took out loans, I decided to go to El Camino College. Went there for 2 years. Very rocky recruiting process. But finally landed at Ball State with a full Division I athletic scholarship.
Hey, that's good.
Currently, I am just finished all of my classes. Found out yesterday I finished with a 3.6 this semester.
Wow.
Congratulations.
That's
Fantastic.
That's good.
Yes, sir. And then this spring, before I graduate in May, I will be completing an internship, a culminating internship for my degree here in Los Angeles.
Okay, so you come back home.
Yeah, had to get out the Midwest, especially.
Where's the degree? At USC or?
At Ball State University.
Oh, okay.
But my internship is at Kanema Fitness. I'll be working with corporate wellness in downtown LA.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic.
That's great.
Congratulations.
Excellent.
Yeah, I saw you put that on Facebook the other day. That's fantastic. Your mom would be very happy to have you back in town.
Yeah. That's great, man. That's great.
So how was the experience in, that was Idaho?
Indiana.
Yeah, how was that?
It was a roller coaster for sure, trying to balance Division I football. That's like having a full-time job.
Yeah, it is.
More than 40 hours a week that we dedicate to getting game ready and training and stuff like that. Then the whole culture and the weather is all extreme. Being a California kid.
Wow.
Extreme cold, having to play football in negative 30 degrees.
Ooh.
Oh, wow, that's deep.
And then in the summertime, it's 102 with humidity, so just the whole culture. And then it's a small town, too. I had to take some time to adjust to the small town atmosphere.
You got to deal with all that craziness.
Yes. Exactly.
How was the school itself, though?
I liked it. I liked it. I met a lot of genuine people. A lot of people in my major specifically really care about, the students and our success. One of my closest, I guess, alliances would be my counselor.
Okay.
She's done, above and beyond to make sure me and my classmates all get to where we need to go after college, and
that's good,
and built some very, very positive relationships.
So you guys actually, both of you, and I know Trenton has, and I know you have started developing that core of your advisors and your network, and have built relationships with them. So being able now to be able to take that into when you start working for someone, and if afterwards either one of you have any entrepreneurial ambitions.
I think, we definitely do. It's just getting the money first to fund those ambitions, and having that idea that we want to, put everything towards to make that dream come true. But I definitely don't plan on working for someone for the rest of my life.
Okay.
Now, do you already have the idea in mind that?
So many ideas going through my head. And this guy, too, we always talk about it in our core group of friends. Yeah. We're always talking about different ideas. It's just we're trying to put ourselves in that position where we could say, you know what, we want to move on that idea and let's go.
See, the good thing about it is you're lucky to be in a circle of resources like Crystal and I, because we've been down that road. We've stumbled a lot. And part of what this show is all about is to help entrepreneurs who probably have stumbled a little bit, or they haven't stumbled enough yet. And we have stumbled so many times that we're teaching them, we're educating them from all our stumbles so that they don't have to stumble as many times as we do. So with you guys, it's great because now you're coming in fresh and you're looking at it from the perspective that, hey, this is where I want to go. I want to go down this path. What do you think, Crystal? What do you think, Gilbert? You see what I'm saying? Because we've been there. And even if we haven't been there, we know someone who have been there. So we can point you in that direction and say, hey, don't take that road over there. That road is rocky.
That one's rocky.
I mean?
And even the idea, that's something actually what I do is I help my clients and clients fester out or create the feasibility of what the idea is.
Yes.
And I'm going to say, from working with so many people over the last 29 years, and I guess you would say the same thing, don't worry about the money.
Yeah.
Create the idea, because if the idea takes off, then money will come. So it's really planning the business. Gilbert is, we both are, because I started my business 29 years ago, and it happens to be a coaching service business. So I really didn't need an influx of money. All I needed was a computer and a phone. So I was able to take my business. But Gilbert actually has a product, and he has invested in that product up until now, getting it investment ready so that an investor will come along and infuse money into it, or be able to purchase the product, and then he can go on to developing the next product. So we can't let the concept of not having the money at your fingertips right now stop you. I have so many businesses that I've helped that had no money. And they've been in business for the last 4 or 5 years, or it just all panned out. I mean, it just all worked its way out, and you guys are all starting now. But I will say, and then this is my own personal experience, my first 15 years after college, I worked for someone and I used them as my university because I watched how they ran their businesses and they were very successful businesses. So that way I was to take that experience. And then at the same time, I was learning everything that I could learn so I could enhance my skill set. So when I did start my own business, I have a bag full of different tricks that I could use depending on what is going on in the economy at the time or what's going on, or if that business needs an infusion to evolve to the next level. I have the skill sets to help make that evolution take place. So I will say that it's important to, as young adults, to go to work for someone and then observe So not just be an employee, observe what they're doing,
Right.
so that you can utilize, especially if it's successful, you can utilize some of the same strategies. And if it's not successful, then learn, be able to identify what doesn't work and what does work.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to ask you guys right now on the spot which avenue you're thinking of taking, because as an entrepreneur, ideas come to you by the minute. You see what I mean? Yeah. So the one thing I would like to say, though, based on my experience, what you want to do with those ideas is to ascertain whether or not it's a service that you're thinking of providing or a product. That's very important to your success. If it's a service, chances are the funding aspect of that will be minimal and it will cost you less. If it's a product, that could cost you hundreds of thousands or millions, depending on the product.
Right.
So you want to have a strong planning approach and a strong network behind that. So that's very important to know. The product, yeah. So when you come up with your ideas, I mean, of course, you want to do your non-disclosure agreements and all of that. Make sure people don't, borrow your ideas from you and don't give it back. Okay.
I like that. Borrow your ideas.
Exactly. So you want to push it over here, so we can kind of guide you. Like Crystal mentioned earlier, we can do a feasibility study on it to see how feasible it is. And I'm not trying to educate you guys right now, but one of the key things that I tell my clients that when they're trying to come up with an idea and they're trying to check feasibility, you want to see if your idea or your product solves a pain in the marketplace. Yeah. And if it solves a pain, are people willing to pay for you to solve that pain for them? If the answer to that is yes, then you're on a good start with your idea. Yeah. So keep that in mind.
And if it's relatable to what you do, so you're not so far outside.
Yes.
For you being in the health industry, the physical therapist or the kinesiologist that actually created the product, the KT tape.
Right.
I use it all the time when I'm playing.
I've used it.
Yeah, that's some amazing stuff. I don't know how it works, but I do know it works. And I've had friends that I actually carry it in my tennis bag, because you never know when you got to whip it out and throw it on your knee or your arm or whatever it is going on. But I've actually had friends that have put it. She had a fallen arch, and I was like, here, try this tape, and she's like. And then about a day later, I said, how's your foot? She goes, what foot? What's wrong with my foot? So those individuals that created that product, off the chain.
What is it called?
It's called KT tape. It's a kinesiologist. It's like it's better than an ACE bandage or an ACE wrap because it's all done by the stretch of the tape, and there's YouTube videos on how to put it on depending on where you got to put it on your body.
So it makes the pain go away.
It makes it. I don't know what it does, but yeah, I guess so.
I need that.
You need that
because my fiance, she has her pain problems and. On any given day, the pain flares up and it's like she doesn't know what to do. And then I'm there going, okay, what do I do? How do I help you? And she gets irritable. So that would be really helpful.
If you watch the Olympics, and that's probably when they took off, because every athlete.
Yeah,
is that the black strip?
It's the black, it's pink, it's orange, it's yellow, it's all kinds of colors.
A lot of the beach volleyball girls.
Yes, on the shoulder. They've had surgery. A
lot of guys on my team, they use it for their shoulder issues. More than any other part of the body.
Let me know where I can get it. I'll get it today.
Yeah, you can get that at CVS or Target or Walmart. Yeah, sporting goods stores anywhere. It's like $20, and you get you get a roll, and I think there's like 17 strips in it, and then you watch the videos to see wherever your pain is.
I gotta get it.
So that's a business. I mean, that they were physical therapists. That's by trade what they are, and then that was an offspring.
So they invented that. Those guys
invented that. It was one of the doctors that was actually I think he was a physical therapist. I don't think he was a doctor.
Can you imagine if that were you guys?
Right.
I would be sitting pretty right now.
And you have the network because you're in the sports industry. You've been in this, so you'll start establishing those networks. So that's, and you've been there. So usually we solve a pain based upon an experience that we've had. And that's how my business evolved. Was when I started as an entrepreneur, everyone I knew worked in corporate America or the county or federal or whatever. And when I told them I was leaving my corporate job, I was like, "Are you nuts?" No, I'm not nuts because I can't do that anymore. Yeah. But when I did it, I didn't have the advisors to guide me through the process. So I had to learn on my own, and I had to do a lot of research to avoid some of the pitfalls. But so this business came out of that because I saw to prevent other businesses from, or new business owners from going through that process, I could help eliminate the mistakes or the experiences that I had. Yeah. That you'll make your own, because that's just part of it, and that's part of the learning process. Yeah. But being able to create, be able to have someone to help guide you through some of the stuff that's not necessary to go through again.
Right. Yeah. That's good.
So that's really good.
That's good. So what are some of the ways that you guys formulate your network and to make it work for you? How do you guys go about doing that?
I was really lucky. My teacher at the University of Dayton, Dr. Peter Teitelbaum, that was one of the first things that he told us. He said, first, they're going to look for the results, as in the company. When they're hiring you, first they're going to look at the results. But then everything after that is who you know and who knows you. So one of our first projects was to actually call 5 different people, cold call them in the industry, and just introduce ourselves, ask questions, and from that, our relationships with those type of people built.
Get established.
Tremendously, yeah.
Wow.
And so maybe freshman year, he made us do this with 20 people. So out of that 20 people, I'm probably stuck with around 7. And throughout my years in college, he kept making us do it. And that's how I got a LinkedIn and added all those people on there. So
that's great.
He really helped me. So when talking about networking, all the credit goes to that guy because he really opened my eyes.
That's good.
Because I can't just do it with the work I'm doing. As silly as that seems, you actually have to know people, and they have to know you.
Yeah, people really do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So, once you get those 3 down, you're good. I was telling Crystal the other day on my show here that I've had clients who contacted me after I did a workshop with them a year or 2 ago. I don't even remember who these people are, but it's because of that network. You establish that network and you did or said something to them that they remembered.
Right.
And then they call you 2 years later and say, hey, I want this guy to help me with my business. I don't want anyone else. Or I want this woman to help me because she, So it's amazing. It's amazing with what your coach, your advisors, and all of those folks are trying to help you with.
Yeah,
it's phenomenal, man. You gotta cherish it.
Yeah,
and even if you're making them now, you don't know when you're going to utilize them. I spoke at an event a month ago, and when the young lady Facebooked me, we connected on Facebook, and she saw some of the posts that I was putting up. I'm pretty prolific on my Facebook. And so she reached out and asked would I speak at this event. And I'm going, do I know this person?
Wow.
But I had already when I set my goals for 2016, it was like, I'm going to say yes, because one of the things I wanted to do, I want to be paid, be a paid speaker. So that means I need the experience behind me. So I said yes. And so so when we got to talking, just about 2 weeks before, I said, what do you want me to talk about? And so she told me networking. And I had just done another event that was a referral. And I had done a 3-day event, and it was about networking. I was like, okay, I got to do that. But then I was thinking, I don't know her. I don't know if I know her. And so went on her Facebook. I saw we had no mutual connections. Like, okay, that's interesting. Because there's very few people or a few places that I go that I don't know somebody. Just because I've been collecting people for the last 20-some years.
That 6 degree of separation, right?
Right, and I'm a people collector. So I'm thinking, how do I not know anybody here? This is blowing me away. So it's like, okay, what am I? network. And I was trying to formulate the speech and the talk, and I'm thinking, oh my, I don't even, okay, so I'll just go. So when I get there, so I don't know if I sent that energy, because when she walked into the door, she goes, I know you don't remember me, and I know you're trying to been figuring it out. I hadn't put it on Facebook, hadn't done anything. And she goes, I was in a class of yours 7 years ago. And she goes, and I remembered, I don't even know what I spoke about 7 years ago, what class it was, but she goes, I was in a class and I knew at some point I was going to have you do something for me, or we were going to do something.
That's amazing.
And that's how it happened. And when I got there, again, no one in the room did I know. I didn't know, which is very unusual, but I spoke on, but what she did do was she put a card before all her guests, and they were to put what were the challenges or the obstacles that was preventing them from becoming successful. Okay, I can talk about that. And so that was what, it just came off the cuff, and they just did it. And out of that, I got another customer clients. I got a coaching client for 2017 that came out of that. So you never know what those relationships or when they're going to actually come together.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I know that Crystal is your aunt, but do you know how famous she is?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know?
Oh, she knows everybody.
We go places together, okay?
Yeah.
And I walk into that room, and they're, oh, Crystal. I'm going, hey, what about me? Everybody knows Crystal. I don't know anywhere that she can go that no one knows her. It's amazing. Yeah. We went to this event down at LA Live, and Damon Shark from Shark Tank was supposed to be there, and oh man, they were all over her. All the people in the room were all over her. I'm going, how do you know these people? It was amazing. It's amazing, man. So if you need a networker, man, right here. I'm riding on her coattails right now.
Oh, he's just as famous in his space. Gilbert's area of expertise is helping people become certified, minority certified business owners. And so he is very well known in that space. So when he's not with me, people go, Gilbert is your co-host? Oh, yeah, Gilbert is cool. So see, he's his own celebrity in his own right. They just don't tell him when he's in the room with them. But they tell me. But it's very important. So, Julian, your network, how have you been able to develop your network?
Mine initially started from football. Just, getting introduced to people playing football, former football players. It's kind of like a fraternity within itself. You know, and then being at Division I, we take a lot of etiquette courses or networking classes, as well as it being mandatory that we go to all the career fairs. So football introduced me to a lot of people, as well as I've had some amazing teammates from high school to junior college, as well as at the D1 level. This past semester, though, preparing for my internship, everyone in my major had an internship preparedness course where we talk about how to network, how to work the room a little bit, especially at health fairs or different events. And then that was a big focus of the class, as well as creating a LinkedIn page, cover letters, things of that nature, just to be able to communicate with people, at different places, whether in person or online, and create connections that way.
And it's good because, before we didn't have a LinkedIn, and it really, most of my network was developed without any social media aspect to it. So you guys are pretty lucky that you do have that. But I do use my LinkedIn because when I do want to find out and meet someone, or I want to meet someone that I haven't met that I think would be very valuable within my network of me knowing them, then I go to somebody that I know and I'll say, hey, can you introduce me to so-and-so and so-and-so? And then because, my profile is there and I keep it up to date. Right. And I always, whatever I'm doing, I always add it. And the show has been beneficial because I added the show every week. And so people are actually getting, they're able to see snippets of what we're doing and what we're talking about. So we actually have a bigger following on the show than actually are subscribing to the YouTube. But I go to places. People go, oh yeah, I just saw your show last night. Really? But you didn't subscribe. What's up with that, man? So that audience is what I want you guys to do for 2017. Please subscribe to our station, the Business Zone, and that's what it's called, the Business Zone on YouTube with Crystal and Gilbert. And we need your subscription because next year we want to monetize our show.
And we also
we are going to
do some great things for you small businesses, but we can't do it for you unless you subscribe to the program. We know who you are. We can reach out to you, and we can provide you resources. So follow Crystal's lead and go subscribe. Subscribe to us. So you guys are actually in a better place than most of our business owners because our business owners have no networks. That's true.
They are in business and they've not learned this at all.
That's true.
Wow.
When they come to me and they're going, but I don't know anybody. Really? Nobody? Nobody. And a lot of them don't tell other people what they're doing.
Right.
So nobody knows that. They don't know what people, even in their own family.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people really know what your family members or your friends do for a living?
Exactly.
Because they've never asked.
Yeah.
They just know they got a job and they may know where they work, but they don't know what they do and whether or not there can be some synergy between your business or what you're doing in their business, and that's how you explain it.
See, when I teach my workshops, Crystal, one of the things that I tell my clients is that you got to know who is in the room. That's the first question you want to ask. Who is in the room? And if you don't know who is in the room, then you got to go find out who is in the room. Go introduce yourself. And like Crystal said earlier, how can I help you?
Yeah. How can I help you?
Instead of going to them and trying to get them to subscribe to you or purchase your service or product, ask them, how can I help you? And then that will drop their guard down. Instead of thinking that, oh, this person's trying to sell me something. Oh, he's got his elevator pitch ready. No. How can I help you? And then all of a sudden they're going to go, wow, this dude is here to help me. Well, this is what I need. I need this and I need this. And before you know it, now you start telling them about how you can help them and how that works. And it's phenomenal. Yep. So for 2017, Crystal,
how can I help you?
That's going to be our theme.
How can I help you?
How can I help you?
I have to choose my theme song and the whole bit for next year, but that'll be it. My theme song last year was Living My Life Like It Was Golden. I might move that into 2017. I'm not quite sure, but I'll feel it in another few days.
It may be a follow-up, right?
A follow-up. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was the book Never Eat Alone, and you guys should really get that book. There's a couple of very profound books that I read in my early career. One was by Dr. George Fraser, Success Runs in Our Race, and it was about what we do and the people that are doing what we do in our space, and a phenomenal book. But Dr. George Fraser is a phenomenal networker, got connections all over the world. He actually has a conference that happens annually called Power Networking, and last year I wanted you to go there, so this year I'm already signed up. So you can go, and I'm going to get somebody else to sign up, and you guys can go for free.
Sounds good.
And then y'all can stay with Glenn, and it'll be cool because it's in Maryland. Right. So I'm going to work on who's coming so I can get you there too. But that's one of the things. He brings people together, especially young people. He brings you together with some powerful people. So there's actually a sports agent that is very much a part of his network. And so I had already started talking to them about you. And so they're going to introduce you to him. So we got to get you there in July. But one of the things that Keith Farazi, who is the author of Never Eat Alone, he talks about when there's several points that need to take place when you're thinking of networking. And so these young men actually have started it. So one of the first one is the mindset. By them being educated to think in that space that is who you know and who knows you is the very first factor that you need. Because if you're obsolete and you're working in a closet and nobody knows what you're doing or why you're doing it, nobody's ever going to support you.
That's true.
Never. And it could be you're down a lane and you say, I've been in space, I had to give it up, I had to go to work because I didn't know you did that. I could have helped you out. And especially job-wise when you're looking for work. And that's a big thing since you don't have those personal relationships, those touchy-feelies, because everything is by online as an application. Nobody knows who the heck you are. So you got to be able, your reputation got to get there before your paperwork get there. And hopefully that's because somebody didn't take it. It's like, oh, so-and-so is submitting a resume online, but I need you to look at it when it gets here. Not get buried in the 5,000 resumes that you've gotten. And the other thing he talked about is becoming a member of a club. So you have an affiliation with sports and football, and so those are people who are valuable. They're there's a huge value in who you know. You're a part of a fraternity. You want to plug your fraternity,
yes,
my brother?
Alphi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
All right.
1906.
So fraternities are huge. Their fraternities and sororities are huge
powerful.
And powerful. The deltas are like off the chain. The kappas are off the chain. In fact, a relationship that I developed with I was a Girl Scout leader, and she was a Girl Scout leader, so that's some number of years ago. And she just reached out to me. The fraternities and sororities, they're creating a solidarity called the Pac 9. And so that she's going to be working that. I'm going to do some stuff with her to support the tennis program, the kids program. So we're going to work with them. And that's good because they're all coming together to work together. And, instead of everybody working in their own silos. And for African American people, black people, we got to come together. We got to unite.
There's no question about that. It has to happen.
It has to happen, especially under that administration that's taking place that's on the East Coast. Because I'm right now in my own state of California, my own country of California,
in the Far East,
in the Far East, in the Far West. That's the Far East nut people out there. So, but that'd be really, that'd be great. So, one of the things he said is becoming a member of a club, where you meet the people that are of a like-mindedness and that are progressive and that want to move forward and that are all open, because your whole networks are about helping each other. That's what the fraternity and sorority is about. Is when you leave college, we're here for you. We got your back. So, and that actually was Keith's second book, is Who Got Your Back?
One thing I'd like to add to that, Crystal, which is really critical, informing a club or being a part of a club is good, but you also got to understand your core competencies. You got to know what is it you're good at. Because being a part of a club and not having anything to contribute, it really doesn't help you. So you want to know your core competencies, like you guys are in the health field. Okay, so you're in there, but what part of that do you do very well? And what value do you bring to the table? So those are good things.
And being able to accept that. I think a lot of people are so humble about what they do that they never, they never encourage or their talents. Is what do I do well? This is what I do well, and you need to know that I do well. So it's patting yourself on the back. And when you do great accomplishments, you need to, one, celebrate yourself. More so than even somebody else celebrating you.
And just to take that a little farther, because a lot of entrepreneurs, they really don't get this, because they might be able to identify their core competencies, but they don't see how that core competency can elevate them. You must be able to take your core competency and help your client transform themselves. If you can get them to transform from wherever they are. So let's say you just meet them. Let's say I just walk into this room. You're at a certain level when I came to this room. When I walk out of this room, you should be at a much higher level based on the information I shared with you, what I disseminated to you, using my core competencies. So that's what entrepreneurs need to understand as well.
Yeah, I think so. And even employees.
And employees
you have
too.
To know what you're good at. And when I was working for someone, I wanted to make sure I was the most valuable person in the building. And so I made several decisions based upon that. When I was in financial planning, I made sure that whatever there was to know about the processes of what we did for our clients, I knew everything. If there was a problem, I called back to our home office. I got it down in detail till it became relevant. Everyone in the building was like, "Go ask Crystal; she knows." So even after I left,
You know why?
yeah.
Because you made them fall in love with you.
Well, yeah,
That's what it's got to be. You got to be able to make either your fellow employees or your clients fall in love with you.
Yeah, so that they'll know she the go-to person.
Oh, yeah.
And even after I left, after I left the company, new employees would come in and like, here's Crystal's number, give her a call. Like, hey guys, I'm not y'all's consultant. I'm not getting paid.
Yeah.
But that's what you want because again, that's the relationships and people know you and then they will refer to you when they go to places, and if they got to build a team and you're in that space,
You got to be a part of
I
that
got to call
team.
you. I need you to come to my team to do what I need you to do. Felicia, the studio today, she's got a phone call a couple of days ago from Kathy Hughes.
Oh, really?
That was her mentor, and she worked with her years ago, and she's going to come use the studio.
Really? When?
On Wednesday.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
I'm
amazing.
But that was a relationship she created years ago that is now coming to fruition.
That's
Someone
amazing,
respected
Felicia.
what she did to utilize, want to support her now. And that's what's important. We never know who's watching
Never know.
We never know who is keeping track of our successes.
And that's why in leaning on that topic about being a part of a club, when you're in that club, you want to behave as if people are always watching you, even when you're by yourself. And that's why, when I'm on radio shows or I'm teaching a class, I'm out there in the public, I'm on social media, I behave a certain way because you never know who's watching.
Mm-hmm. Never, ever know. And here's a big one. And this one came, a friend of mine's is starting a business or wants to start a business, but he was a hairstylist, but he wanted to create his own beauty school, but with the emphasis on teaching the students on how to get into the entertainment business, because there's a big money as a stylist and a hairstylist and a consultant, the whole bit. He had been in that business for over 30 years. He had worked with Eddie Murphy. He had worked with Chris Rock, just everybody. I mean, I think he had told me when Halle Berry got her hair cut short when she was the short pixie look, that was him. He did that.
Oh, really?
Wow. So when it came time for him to start his business, he didn't want to reach out to them.
Why?
I never understood it. He wanted to come successful to them and then ask for help, as opposed to asking them to invest in who he was based upon their relationship.
It's just like those folks who don't like to toot their own horn in the resumes or anything like that.
Right.
They go, oh, they'll know me. They'll
know me. They'll figure that out. But no, you have to be the one to toot your horn. And the other part of that is sometimes is not to keep score, which means that we collect people or we make relationships, but we want to keep them to ourselves. We don't want to share that relationship with anybody else because figuring that they're going to use them up and then it will be nothing for you. But what happens is that you've already created the trust with them. They will trust you if you're referring someone else to them. Again, and that becomes successful.
Again, I keep going back to my mantra. If you make them fall in love with you, there's no way they're going to fall in love with anyone else.
Right.
Because all the love they have is for you. You see what I mean?
Exactly.
So holding resources to yourself is not doing you any good.
No, it isn't. You should
gotta share it.
Right.
You gotta share it.
I don't have a problem. I have one of the philosophies that I work with for myself is when I'm networking, my mission, and that's the next step in Keith, is what is your mission? So my mission when I go out to an event is, one, let me hear what's going on. What are you doing? How can I help you? So that way I'm listening to what they're saying, right? And then I'm going, okay, that might not work for me. But I go out with a top 10. I have top 10 people that I am networking for besides myself. So if they could be clients, they could be friends, they could be associates that I've just met. But if I can bring those two people together, then that's a great thing because there's two people doing business and with the synergy that can help each other. So I always go out with my top 10. So that's my mission.
And that's why it is so key that when an entrepreneur or an employee is trying to establish their mission, they understand what their focus is, because your mission is about what's your purpose? What is your purpose? Mm-hmm. Your purpose is here to solve a certain pain. And how are you going to solve that pain? Well, when you go into that room, your mission is to make connections, to do all of those things. That's part of the purpose of your mission.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So it is crucial that you combine those two and understand it. A lot of businesses don't understand their purpose.
They don't understand their purpose.
And if you don't understand your purpose, then you don't know your target demographic. You don't know how to market to them. You don't know how to get that desired outcome.
Right. And again, people knowing what you do, knowing you, and you knowing them.
Oh, yeah.
And the other thing that I've always worked with it with the philosophy is that there's always a philanthropy part of what I do. So I always volunteer or work with some organization. So in my early career, I was Girl Scout leader. Mm-hmm. And so I met people from that arena. So that's a vast network as well. And then from there, I met some individuals, and I had started to learn to ski. And so I was doing the Girl Scouts and wanted to figure out how I was going to bring both of them together so I wouldn't have to, no one got left out, right? So I started taking them skiing, and then I ran into a group that had a program for kids to learn to ski, and at the same time I could continue my skiing. And so I brought those kids into that program. But again, now a vast number of people. So when I would go out to network and big events and I didn't know anybody, I had Girl Scouts, I had kids. That's always a great subject. And I'm always very passionate about that, right?
See, that's another thing a lot of people don't know about Crystal. She's an amazing skier. So we're at the top of the hour right now, so we're going to take another break. This is our final break. We've got 30 more minutes left in the show. So this is the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert, the small business paramedic. So let's take a break.
All righty.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186.
Welcome back to the Business Zone. This is
Crystal.
And Gilbert Buchanan, the small business paramedic. And Crystal was talking about some great things about network here. And she's got some key points. And Crystal, you're talking about the mission.
Yeah, the
having
mission.
a mission.
And we have our two wonderful guests, Trenton Graham and Julian Jackson. They're our new millennial future entrepreneurs and corporations and empire builders and leaders.
you know, Crystal, I'm gonna have to ask this question. I know they're not there yet, but I always wanted to get a flavor of the millennials. How do you guys approach business? How do you see business? And what does that mean to you guys, being millennials? Because we're old school. We're dinosaurs. We're a different era. So you guys look at it differently.
Yeah, definitely. Especially in the more recent years, being more educated on politics and things like that. I feel like back then it was easier to start a business and actually make money from that business. Now it's like the big corporations. Of course, you can still make money with your small business now, but it's feel like you have to build an empire to actually compete with those big corporations or something like that. So I'm still ambitious and I still want to build my own business. But I just don't think, I think to build that business, I can't just stop at that one thing. Right. I have to build 5 to, I guess not to compete, but to compete.
Or form strategic partnerships.
Right.
Right.
How about you, Julian?
I think from what I've learned and experienced recently, I think the biggest part for us in making our own business would be timing and momentum to catch the trendy wave. Because I think that's what gives the most momentum to companies and businesses and ideas, whatever it is. When social media, because the power of Twitter and Instagram, if that becomes trendy, then the power is unlimited on what, a business, what it can become.
And see, that's one of the advantages that you guys have, the millennials, because you are able to spot trends more quickly than the other conglomerates.
Matter of minutes.
It takes them forever. It's like a shark, like a shark and a dolphin in the water. Shark takes forever to make that turn, but the dolphin, they hit them real quickly. You see what I'm saying? So the millennials, they can spot trends and start going with it. So sometimes when they're pitching certain ideas and people are looking at them funny, it's because they saw a trend that we don't see.
They saw a trend. I mean, even with when you take Facebook, that was not his Zuckerberg's idea. His idea was not creating a multi-million-dollar business or even a public-owned business. His idea was to impress a girl.
To create a system so he can get girls.
That was all he did. So that was his problem. That was his pain, and he was solving it. But it took off. It had legs because we were at that place where you wanted to be able to communicate, especially in a college environment. And then, of course, after it went through its way through the college, like, well, wait a minute, outside people need to be able to keep up with it. I think there does have to be a balance, though, because I think when we spend all our time speaking through internet and online, you lose your interpersonal skill sets, and that's very, very important. And I think that might be the one area that those of us from the dinosaur area can help the millennial to understand that it's still very important to be able to speak to people and to be able to have a personal relationship with them, because everything done online is, just not always, or through an internet type, because you lose the empathy.
So that's probably a good way to tie this into your next point. Build it before you need it.
Build it before you need it, because, again, you can meet them online. You can meet them through Facebook. You can meet them through Instagram, but you don't know them personally. So being able to take it offline to be able to have that communication. And one business that was a fantastic idea in the very beginning was the online dating platform. Fantastic, because you were able to meet large number of people, be able to communicate with those people through chit-chatting and so forth. But how it missed its point and where it's kind of in an interesting place right now is that they never came offline. Some in the early days did, but now when you go to those services, everything is still, and you don't know who's real and who's not, because everybody's created this reality TV type of person,
that catfish,
right? So it went in a different direction, but it's harder for people to meet individuals to have a real relationship where you're going to build on it and become involved in each other's lives.
Right.
You know, you're not coming offline to make that happen. So that industry, and so recently, in fact, we're going to have her on the show next year. There's a young lady that I was at an event. She's a matchmaker, and so she has online, but she's also in person. She does interpersonal matching, and so she's going to be on the show sometime next year for us, because business and love and all that kind of stuff is important.
And you're pretty strong in that area because you had a business.
I had a business in the early days
that space
before Matchmaker.
So
before Match.com, before any of them.
You should probably go pitch your idea to eHarmony. They probably use some of your strategies.
Could be. You could be. Yeah.
Probably get some of those millions that they've got hanging out there.
Right. Because I think sometimes you need someone. Again, it's about networking.
Yeah.
If you were going to introduce me to somebody that you knew and you knew that their character was, and that was the person that I would want to know, then I would be open. So, I'd be interested.
Yeah.
But because now it's coming from a personal introduction, and the same thing with you guys. Because once you get out of college, it ain't that easy to meet people.
You know, my mind is always running at 1,000,000 miles an hour, right? A second, right? So with that background that you have within the online dating thing, why don't you use that to do like an online dating for businesses?
Yeah.
So business can date each other and figure out if they want to do business with each other.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, matchmaking. In fact, I saw somebody.
Am I spilling the bean here? Hey, this is copyrighted.
Yeah, we won't talk about that We'll talk about that offline.
Speak about it offline.
Offline, but because it becomes more difficult, because that's important to be able to make. Yeah, because that. Well,
and you already are the collector.
I know, I'm already collecting people. Well, it was interesting when I had my dating service. I actually, on the offshoot of that, was a networking service event that we did, because business entrepreneurs have, we're working. So you don't have time to go out and meet people. And when you are out meeting people, you're talking about business, right? So we created a network where you could interact with one another. Wow. So that was like 20 years ago, 1990.
I just saw you with $100 million in your hand.
I know. So I'm going to get my $100 million.
Oh,
I'm going to get that. I'm going to get it.
Are you going to get it?
But but that's important.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you guys something about innovation. So when you say competition with corporations, so some of our corporations, they've had a business model that's been in place for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, and they are tied to it like it's
they're married to it.
They're married to it.
Yeah.
And like some people that just stay in a miserable marriage, even though it's not working. So when you take certain, like a utility companies, Edison, for example, Edison's business model was providing energy and lights, right? That was their business model. So when solar stepped into play, you would thought that's still lighting, that they've been the one to jump on that before any outside individuals got to it, right? For any of the new innovators got to it, and they didn't. So now they're playing catch up, and they got disrupted.
Yeah.
And then when you look at your Blockbuster, a lot of the bookstores, a lot of the businesses that no longer exist because somebody else was able to jump in on it. And I think that's the marriage between the millennials and the businesses, is because I actually suggested to Edison, I said, what would seemed to me was for you to create a relationship with someone that's in solar, maybe just starting out, and have this amazing concept or innovative idea, and you bring them on, you use your hundreds of thousands for R&D, and you help that business grow. At the same time, you guys work out a proprietary relationship so that you both own that.
Well,
that's where you guys come in.
They think they're going to give up market share. That's why they don't want to do that.
I know, it's ridiculous.
And they want to milk this. See, in marketing, you have what they call the cow. The The cow is, it works dutifully and diligently. And at the end of the day, what do? You go there and you milk it. And you milk it, you put it back out there, you feed it next day, and it's out there. You go back tomorrow night, you milk it. So that's what a lot of these organizations do. They're operating a cow, and they don't want to change. Millennials like you guys come along who are disruptors, who are disrupting the industry in the marketplace. Yeah. They can't stand you guys because you're costing them money. So that's why they're doing what they do. And every opportunity they get, they try to step on anything that comes in their way. They try to squash it.
Right.
So, and that's why I'm saying, millennials, if you guys can pool your resources and form that alliance, you can control this market.
Yeah. So then that way, because if you guys are working together to build that solidarity, you're coming with a lot more force than one individual.
And that's why you see solar is taking a different direction.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they recognize these big utility guys, they don't want to embrace them. So they're going, okay, we'll take the back door on you because we know we're going to get there eventually. See, their thing is to get to the consumer. If they can get to the consumer directly, those big conglomerates, they're going to be out of business in no time.
Yeah, so you guys can actually outthink them because they're married to certain and you guys are much more flexible.
They're nimble. They're nimble and they're spotting trends. They're jumping on trends. The trends may not make sense and it may not be a trend to them, but they can make them into a trend. You see what I mean? So that's good.
And you got to always be, so once you do that, which is how you stay competitive, is seeing where the trend is going 5-10 years from now, because a lot of people are not thinking out that far on how you can make change. I mean, we do that as entrepreneurs, and I think actually for me that's the true definition of an entrepreneur, is that you can see into the future and see that you possibly can have a space in that future and how you can create a component of your business to evolve to that place.
And that would probably roll into your next point on here about doing your homework.
Yes, so doing your homework, always always researching, and you have access to Google, so you can look and read and just see where the trends are, because there are people out there that's what they do for a living. Even for us as African American, one of the things that one is our consumer power. So if we take you guys, young adults, and you guys come together, because you guys are a huge pool of people, and you get each other to understand why it's important for us to spend our dollars in our own community, then you have a voice. So, the last year and a half with all the political crap, and I know you were very much involved in it, look how he was able to galvanize people, whether it was true or not. So if you guys have that voice within your people, is understanding, supporting one another now. If you're starting businesses, support your people and to build. So now we're talking, if we build our own schools, you build our own hospitals, we build our own banks, our own hotels, our own things like that, and you have the support of your people to support you, and understand that $2.2 trillion is actually their econ. So that's why they don't want you to go away anywhere with it. They want to keep that $1.2 trillion, you spending it with them. So they go through all kinds of machinations to do that. And so we need you guys to pick up. There is a guy, and I think I was going to have him call in today, but his name is Reginald Ringo. You weren't here the day he was here, but Reginald is 34 years old, and he is a Wall Street hedge fund manager, black. Brilliant young man, talking about Bitcoins and how the future, and how we're not going to use paper currency, and it's all going to be internet based. We're already using debit cards and so forth, but at some point there will be no paper currency left. No coins, none of that. Everything is going to be done electronically.
And it's going to go back to where we started. Trading.
We're going to go
gonna
back to a
right
bargain
back to
place,
that.
right? Because that's what the Bitcoin is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they haven't figured out how to regulate the Bitcoin because it's all going through. So he's brilliant. So we're going to have him start coming. He's going to start doing a series of seminars and workshops. So actually, we're going to have you'll be gone back in September. We're going to do it at your Aunt Loisy and Keith's church and talking to the young adults there. How to invest in the stock market, how to invest in commodities, because that's the secret, that's the key. Yeah. That's how they create legacy and wealth.
You know, Crystal, you brought up a point earlier, which I just want to go back to briefly. And, I'm not trying to be all political about it, but there were two candidates. One did their homework, the other one didn't.
Yeah.
The one who did the homework won. And the one who didn't win.
Right.
Now, irrespective of how that homework was done or executed, they still did their homework because they knew a little bit about their target demographic. And they realized that by knowing about that target demographic, they could feed them any information to get them on their side. Do you see what I'm saying?
Whether it's true or not.
And whether it's true or not.
Right. No ethics, but it is what it is.
So that's one of the things about us, why we need to do our homework. We need to understand our target demographic. We need to understand their pain and why they have that pain and how we can solve that pain for them. Because if we can do those things, then we can satisfy that pain much better than the competition.
Right.
Definitely.
And in this case, it's us. You guys can help solve the pain within your own community. Utilizing what you've learned. I mean, both of you have got an amazing education and being able to bring, and as a leader, bring the people to understanding what's truly. So you've learned a lot because we've had exchanges ourselves on online on Facebook during the election time frame, and understanding who we are as a people and the value. So that comes back to knowing our value, right? We are very, very talented. If you take the entertainment industry and the sports industry, we are like 70% of those industries by ourselves.
Definitely.
So if you take that money, the funds and the monies there, and bring those back here, we can create better places, and you wouldn't be in debt for $40,000 for 30 years, that kind of stuff, because we're providing our own, supporting our own black colleges, making sure that we get the education that we need. That's where it's important, and that so as the new leaders, emerging leaders of our people. That's what we have to learn, and you have to go back and get your Pied Pipers and bring them right along with you.
Yep.
I want to throw one last thing out there before you guys. If you guys don't remember anything else that we talked about on this show today, I just want you guys to think about it this way, because this is how I think about business, and that's why I'm not going to say I'm the best consultant, but I'm damn good. I'm damn good. And I'm good because I do forensics on the market and on my clients. I break down that client, and I want to know everything about the client, what they like, what they hate, what makes them tick, that type of thing. And I want you guys to do the same thing. You guys are in a unique industry. Yeah. You're in a unique industry, and you can take that industry and you can blow out all the existing competition. Yeah. So do your forensics. Do you guys watch CSI?
No.
Sometimes.
Okay. Start taking a look at CSI and see how they operate. Because if you use some of those strategies in your business and entrepreneurial ventures, I'm telling you, can't go wrong.
And even in their networking, just building it with a purpose. Do everything with a purpose.
Right. Yeah. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, and a goal, and both of you are great at setting your goals. So continue that on in your careers and entrepreneurial life, because I think that as long as you have a direction and you have a plan, you can stay focused. It's when we don't have plans that we get off track. Right. And we can be dissuaded and distracted from our goal. And plan to go out there when you're your first business and make $1 million. We had a guest on, and she was saying she provides funding for businesses $250,000 and up, women-owned businesses in the tech industry. And so she says when she's coaching or talking to prospectives, she goes, don't plan on anything less than $1 million in your business. That's right. That's your goal, $1 million.
Yeah.
If you fall short, okay, but you keep working toward that. But don't start a business saying I'm going to make 100,000 to quarter, $500,000. No, you want go for the big.
Exactly.
And then that changes because the dollars change. So the next is 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, that kind of stuff. Because it's possible. You hit the right tech product, the right sport equipment, the right whatever. Somebody buy it for $5 billion. There you go.
Right. You never know.
That is happening every single day in the tech world.
Now, before you folks leave, I'd like you guys to drop some wisdom on us, to let us know something that we don't know. Because you guys have been out there, you've seen stuff, and I just want you to share something. It doesn't have to be prolific or anything like that. Just something simple that you think entrepreneurs could benefit from. So I want you guys to look in those 2 cameras with the blue lights and tell them, what do you think they need to know or how they should go about doing things?
Well, I would say, since we're talking about networking, one of the most important things that I've learned, and Julian kind of touched on it, is networking with your own classmates. It might not seem like it's important at the time. It might just seem like they're your friends. But it was funny, like at the end of my 4 years, our teacher was like, well, look around. I taught you guys to build a network outside of here. Now, you guys have been working with these people for 4 years now. This is your strongest network by far. And just knowing that I have people in the Midwest, if I ever need help, I call them. If my son ever decides to go to the Midwest, hopefully he doesn't, I can call him.
And he don't have that son right now, just so y'all know that. It's down the line.
So just knowing that, you always have their back. So to build that network with other people, but also the people closest to you, too.
Low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Low-hanging fruit. Wins every time.
Right.
Appreciate that, man. Julian.
I would say from my experience, what I learned a lot this year with networking as well is sometimes it's difficult to approach someone for the first time, or if you haven't talked to them in a significantly long period of time about something you need. But then I learned that a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So that even though you may not want to bother someone and, have the stigma of only wanting something when you need something, in certain situations, you just need to have a conversation and bring up what's going on. Like I said, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. There's countless times this past year for me academically where, a teacher may be able to help you with something or introduce you to something or refer to you to the right tutor or right program or anything of that nature. So always or never be afraid to ask. You never know what you're going to get the answer. And the worst that's going to happen is a no, and then you'll just be right where you are if you didn't ask. So when you ask questions, there's no other possibility than positivity and upward movement.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you understand that a closed mouth doesn't get fed, then you'll also understand that you don't have to eat alone.
And you don't have to eat alone.
You don't have to eat alone.
And no is only the reverse of onward, right?
You see what I'm saying?
So the no is just the word. It don't mean anything. You just keep moving. Right. Well, thank you guys so much. We so appreciate your coming. I hope you had a good time.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great venue here speaking to everyone. So we'll make sure you get a copy. You guys can show you guys little radio stars to your friends.
Celebs in the making, man.
Celebs in the making. Our new emerging leaders. So we want to tell you guys, have a Merry, Merry Christmas. Eat well, work out afterwards. Enjoy your family. This season is really about love, not about craziness and the commercial side of it. And the other thing, as I said at the top of the hour, if you see things going on that you completely do not agree with, especially while we're going through this crazy racial, whatever you want to, insanity, make sure you stand up for the people that are being affected by that. If we come together and we say no to that behavior will go away. If we stand back and we're silent while someone is being tortured or bullied, then that's wrong. And we can't tell our children not to bully people and that we're against bullying is we as an adult are going to take up that practice and do that. So the next time you see someone, even if you see it on Facebook and you see someone it's on Facebook Live, but you don't see anybody doing anything, shame those people, because we are human beings, and we as human beings need to make sure people are behaving like we live in a world of understanding and empathy. And we were not put on this earth in the same coat. We were put in different coats. That was God's plan. That's not our plan to change that. So we can't think one is better than the other. We have to respect all human life because we all came from the same place. And we will see you next week or for the new year. We're bringing in 2017. So we want to go with a motto. What we're going to do in 2017?
2017, we're gonna have some great fun, Crystal, with our entrepreneurs. We're going to launch those training programs. We're going to bring in 5 to 10 small businesses, and we're going to coach and mentor them so they can be successful. They're going to be business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready.
Exactly. And the Business Zone will be here for the duration. We will become the source for you to come when you want to take your business, evolve your business to the next level, or you're looking to start a business. We are your coaches, and both of us have coaching businesses, services, right. So you can contract us and hire us to help you take your business to wherever you want it to go, help you map out a direction and a plan. And we want you to be successful, and we are going to be successful.
Tell them how to reach us, Crystal.
So you can reach us at the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and our website is the Business Zone with CrystalAndGilbert.com, www.com. And we are out.
We're out. You have a Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2017.
Yes. Merry Christmas, everyone.
This is the Business Zone
with Gilbert and Crystal.
Meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186.